Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome to the Mindset-Conquest Podcast, where every week I'll be joined by a special guest who will be sharing what they've experienced as the biggest failure in their life, but most importantly, the lessons that they've learned from that experience. I'll be spending time with people that I've met throughout my life's journey in business, music, and sport. And the goal is to provide listeners like yourselves with the motivation needed to get through all of life's challenges and learn not to be afraid of failure, but rather to embrace it. Please like and subscribe and enjoy this episode. I'm Chris Atwell. On today's episode, I'm joined by Rob, DJ Greedo, Gree. Rob is a turntablist and a career DJ. He's a multiple DMC competition finalist who owns his own company called Del Vinyl Entertainment, a full-service DJ entertainment company. He's a father, an environmentalist, and passionate about his music. Welcome to the Mindset-Conquest Podcast. I've got a very special guest today, Robert Gree. How you doing today, Rob?
I'm good, man. I'm good. What's up, Chris?
Hey,
happy
man.
To be here.
Yeah, really happy to have you. Really appreciate that. Why don't we start with you telling people a little bit about yourself, who you are, where you're from, and what you do for a living.
Yeah, for sure. Like I said, my name is Rob Gree, aka Greedo, DJ Greedo. It's a nickname I've had since high school. And I currently live in Whitby. I've been here for the last 7 years. Before that, I was in Pickering, Toronto. Grew up in Fenelon Falls, small town. So I got the best of both worlds.
Nice.
Currently, I'm a DJ full-time still. Well, kind of COVID. But it's been 9 years full-time. I've been running my company, Del Vinyl Entertainment. I got some great guys that work with me. And, over the last couple of years, COVID's really helped me step up the business side of things. And really, it's just been the challenge has been great because it's forced me to do some things that I might not normally have done. And it's like everyone's saying, the silver lining, the pros and cons. And it's also been the toughest part of my life. I think a lot of people, but our industry specifically has suffered really hard. And get through this, get through anything. 100%. Yeah.
So 7 years you've been running your own 9
years
business. Sorry, how long?
9 years.
9 years. Hey, congrats. That's amazing.
Thanks, man.
What sort of DJing are we talking about? Are we talking about, clubs or weddings? What does it look like?
That's the beauty of it. So I've been DJing my whole life pretty much, since I was 14. And now, once how I got into the business side of things was when I got married. And it was just obviously having a biased background, knowing what DJs are and what they're not. And getting into the wedding DJ realm was like, man, all these guys are the same. I don't want this for my wedding. And so I ended up getting 2 DJs for my wedding. I got a stereotypical wedding DJ and I got a club DJ
Nice.
Faze, big shouts, Faze. And it was great. It was awesome. And it was kind of an epiphany moment for me. Like, why am I not doing this? I should get into this, the wedding side. And I started doing weddings and I was still doing some bar club stuff. I do fashion shows, school, pretty much, any type of event that, needs a good soundtrack. I've also been in the DMCs. I competed 3 times, national finals.
Awesome.
Yeah. So that's what got me into DJing to begin with, was the turntablism, the DMCs, the competitions. Like back in the 90s when I saw that, I was like, it was almost like punk rock kind of stuff. Like you weren't supposed to do that with the record. You weren't, how are you making a new beat out of one beat? Like, how is that? And just the whole art side of it, like the craft, like it took me and it, like 90s hip hop is what opened me up to music, all music.
Right.
Before I was like, I kind of like some stuff here and there, but like, it was like really 90s hip hop that made me like love music. And it made me branch out and like R&B and like funk and like house. And, I've always liked metal and alternative. And So the turntablism and scratching is really what inspires me, what I love. And when you see me DJ, whether it's at a wedding, whether it's at a club, you're going to see elements of that. I always try to keep that included with my performances. And I love it, man. And you know what, even still doing this, like I'm still, like anyone, trying to find their own style and figure out who they are and how they're really unique, and I actually, recently have, because of you, when you got me on that show last year with AD Empire and DO,
right?
I hadn't heard of these guys, AD Empire, before. Now I follow them, check them out.
Yeah.
I love their stuff. They're awesome, and I love them. And I love that they lean into their Italian heritage. I love that they have it in their songs. They have the language, and I haven't really seen that in anyone else. And so I started thinking about it myself. I'm like, I should lean into that a little bit too. Why not? It's a piece of me, my background, like my dad's side, my last name. And I recently just got into a genre of music I did a party. I did Italian Market last Saturday with a friend of mine who owns this place, Panavino, and Italo disco. I've heard of it. And I'm like, I have a few songs. I'm like, you know what? Let me research it for like a couple of weeks and get into it. And I'm like, man, there's some good stuff. And I played it. I have the set. I'm going to re-record today, and I love it. It's great, man. It's like what the Italians were doing in the 70s, 80s, and 90s. Yeah, it was like their interpretation on what was going on here, like the Chicago house and disco, like the American music they love, what they were making over there, and it's really cool. And it's just great, man. It's so thank you for putting me on to those guys.
Oh, my pleasure, man. I've known you for quite a few years, and we've had the opportunity to perform together, and I've even done a few weddings for you in the past as an MC, which was...
I miss those days, man. I never forget that time we did that wedding, and you were MCing and I was DJing, and that kid pulled out the cord and all the power was gone.
Yeah, these things happen, right? You gotta be ready for anything in your profession, I'm sure.
Yeah.
So, hey, good for you. And I'm glad that you're able to connect with people and expand your horizons. A lot of people are always stuck in their comfort zone. And what I'm hearing here is that, over time, you're always trying to progress. You're trying to better yourself. You're trying to take others' experiences and implement your own, so that you can just do things on a grander scale every time you do it. And then kudos to you, because not everybody gets out of their comfort zone like that. So
yeah. Well, you know what? It's just one of those things. You got to do it, and you can fall flat on your face. And I've definitely done that a bunch of times, and it hurts. But all these things all the pressure is what makes you the gem. Yeah. You want to be that gem, you need that pressure.
You need that pressure. You need that outside pressure. That's it. All right. So the big question.
What up?
I'm going to call you Greedo for the podcast. Greedo, the premise of this podcast is really to help our listeners get through challenges in their life. That's kind of what I want out of this. And the way that I do that is by having my guests like yourself share what they consider to be their biggest failure in their life. And hopefully that will motivate the listeners to not be afraid of failure, to be okay with those outside pressures to create that gem, right? Mm-hmm. So I'm going to ask you, what do you consider your biggest failure in life?
Yeah, so I thought about this a little bit, and I was trying to think of specific things that have happened and whatnot. And so I really just came to something that has been big, and it's been a failure in my business life as well as my personal life. And the biggest thing is for me has been relationships and maintaining them and understanding them for what they really are. I think some people, it's kind of like, when people get married, it's like, okay, we got married, we did the whole courting, I was all Mr. Fantastic in the beginning. And then, for me, and I think some of the guys who kind of fall into this, like, mode where you're just like, hey, we're married, we're good, everything's good. Like I don't really have to put that much, more work into it, effort. And,
Right.
That was a huge mistake. It's like, you still got to have the date nights. You still got to have that spark. You still got to put in work. Like it's a relationship, man. It's back and forth. It's not just, we have a relationship and that's it. Like, everything we built up.
Do you have an example of how that kind of blew up in your face, I guess, by not doing those things?
I guess, with business for me, working in this industry full time, like DJing, it hasn't been easy. And, so many times, I would be out working and Friday, Saturday night, I'm like, working out a lot, and I invite people to, come to my party, and like, it's like we're hanging out.
Right.
That's not the case. I was delusional. I was like, yo, come where I'm working, we can hang out. We're not hanging out. I'm working. You're hanging out. You're trying to talk to me and hang out, but I can't really, because I'm focused on my job and I got to do a good job or else I might not be still working.
Right.
And, for many years I did that, invited people out and did all that. And that's not a relationship, man. That's me inviting you to come see me at work. Like, that's not us hanging out.
Yeah.
So that was a big mistake. And also relationships with important people that I work with, other vendors. Like, for me, I feel like there's some things you just have to live a little to kind of understand things, and you kind of have to fail a bit to understand and learn from it. And, like just simple things, I'd be like, I know, say like a venue, I should be going there. I should be, hitting them up. But then I would think like, oh, I'm just going to be annoying them. Like, what am I going to say? What am I going to do? And now at this point, I'm just like, you just got to be real. Like, it's call them up, see how you're doing. You haven't talked to someone in a couple of months. Like, ask them how they're doing, call them up. Could be a 5-minute conversation, and that could be it. But I always thought maybe that's kind of annoying, or maybe they think I just want business. But
right.
Life's too short to think like that, man. Like, you got to do what you got to do. You got, people you respect, you love, you look up to, man. Like, treat them like that. Check in on them. You never know what people are going through. You really don't. And I actually have a friend of mine who I won't say his name, but he had both of his parents pass away recently.
Oh, geez.
And I feel so bad for him, man. It's really tough. And he's such a good guy. And it's funny when the stuff I've been going through. This has been one of the toughest times in my life. COVID, mentally, financially, career-wise, everything.
Right.
And, I'd always be like, oh man, I feel so bad. Like it sucks. Like, I want to call this guy up and talk to him about it. And I'm like, why would he want to talk to me about, like, why would he want to talk about my problems when his problems are way worse than mine? I'm thinking about that. And I'm like, I don't know, personally with me, like, I even had a time when was it? In the summer, the first time in my life where I didn't even want to DJ anymore. I'm like, oh my God, like, this is crazy. Am I done? Like, is this it?
You hit a low, eh? You hit a low.
Yeah, I hit an all-time low. And I started to think, I was like, why did I get into this? What was it that got me into it? So I returned back to my roots, back to the 90s hip hop, started listening to it all, re-inspired me. And oddly enough, like sad songs, man, like, like Roots, do it, or what is it? What they do what they do, like along that line, like stuff like that, like all these songs. And it, I don't know, for some reason, it just, it kind of put things into perspective and made me remember why I'm doing what I'm doing. And I think it's important to always return back to your roots. And for me, that's 90s hip hop, it's like, it's why I got into DJing. It's what shaped my life. It's done so much for me, and you got to return back to it. And, I get caught up in DJing all these parties and doing music for everyone else. So I got to get back to, I have to have a piece of that where it's part for me as well. So that was a big thing. And yeah, just the whole relationships on the whole, like I should have been more supportive. I should have been there. I should have been working on relationships personally, business wise, like both really failed. And I didn't quite get it. And I was stuck in this whole thing where, it's so hard. I'm working, I'm out, I'm at a party, invite friends to my party. So I'm not missing anything, but really I'm just working. It's kind of delusional.
It's amazing that you bring that up, because I was thinking about that the other day, how, we all go through ups and downs in life, and it's not always going to be unicorns and rainbows. We're going to have times that are out of our control, and we're going to have struggles that we're going to have to navigate through. And you nailed it on the head. I truly believe that if you're having a hard time staying motivated, and you're starting to question, if you're going to hit your goals or objectives or not, one of the most powerful things you can do is remind yourself why you're doing it in the first place. Because we lose sight of
100%.
that. We lose sight. You obviously clearly have such a passion and a love for DJing. Like it's you glow it, right? It's beautiful to see. And I know that you take your business seriously. And COVID hasn't been hard. So kudos to you for taking a step back. Because a lot of people would just dwell on the negative, right? They would dwell on the problems, make excuses, complain. But you took action. And one of the first steps to do, to take action in some cases, is reminding yourself of why you're doing it in the first place. Go back to your roots. And it can really build some motivation. And it sounds like it helped you get out of that slump. Right?
100%. It did 110%. It was just like, I was like, okay, I feel this. This is why I got into it to begin with, because I feel it. Yeah. And
that's awesome.
No, it really was. I was scared, man. Like straight up. I was like, and I started questioning myself too. I'm like, what am I even doing, man? Like, what if this gets even worse and I end up having to do something else? I'm like, did I just spend like all this time and effort and money and everything doing this? And then, what do I have to show for it? And, another big thing too is, with having relationships with people and just loving what you do, when people comment, when people say things, it means a lot, and like I had some reviews lately and had some people say some things that, it was like, wow, like, okay, because you don't hear it all the time. And it's like, okay, it is being noticed. It's not everyone will say it, but it is being noticed, like, and it really, it's like energy feeds on energy. It's like, it's a synergy you get where people start, expressing how they feel, what you're doing. And then you take it in and it just like snowballs and it gets bigger. And so that's helped a lot too, just with other people being positive. And like this past Saturday, a couple of the places I work at, as I mentioned before, Penne Vino and Chuk in Pickering, these are places that I've DJ'd at for years. And, the restaurants have been bars, clubs, they've been hit like really hard.
Everyone's
like
been hit. Yeah.
Everyone's been hit, but these guys especially, right? And, just hearing what they're going through and saying, and like seeing so many places that I loved growing up, including my childhood bakery that I've gone to my whole life, gone. Like it hurts, man. It really does. And I was like, what can I do? Like, I always think every day, like, what can I do? What can I do to help? And so I was talking to them and I said, hey, listen, let's try something out. I want to, help raise the energy. I want to do something positive and see if it can help you guys with some more awareness, bring some more people in. And let's try a DJ set for takeaway,
nice.
Takeaway tunes, right? So the one guy, he has the Italian market 10 to 2 on Saturday mornings. So we did that. I did the Italo disco house.
Hey.
Yeah. And then, and it was great, man. People like were dancing and like smiling and like, just loving it. Like it raised the vibrations, like it really helped. And the owner, like he was loving it. And he's like, man, we should do like a brunch on Sunday, like once a month, like, adding some ideas in. And like, this is all new territory for me too, doing this, Italo disco. Nice. And, and then going to the Chuk later on that night. And like, people were generous, they were tipping and, they were just really appreciative of what I was doing. And like, yeah, it went better than expected. The support was great, man. It really, really helped me. And this is all out of love, like just doing what I love doing. And like, I feel like I'm kind of losing a sense of purpose at times too. Like, I'm like, yeah, I'm not going to be just doing 90s hip hop all day here, but,
Right.
To be able to DJ out and like play music that I love, that other people love too, is like, it's a big thing. And like, when I did that Italo disco house set and he loved it and like wants to expand on it, I'm like, okay, this is super inspiring. Like, this is great, man. And then like completely different vibe over at Chook, where it's like, my formula there, how it took us months to get to this, what worked for his clientele in that area and his spot was we did 3 songs, always switches genre every 3 songs. And so that would be reggae dancehall, or it could be Afrobeats, Latin, like reggaeton, and hip hop, 90s, 2000s, new stuff, whatever. But every 3 songs is always switching genres. So whoever's there, they're going to get what they want in the next 10, 15 minutes, or less. And so it was great, man. Just like, yeah. And I had the lights set up and we were streaming, and it was really great, man. It turned out better than expected, and to keep at it and keep doing it. And just like, I did the Twitch thing. I jumped on when the pandemic started. I did that for like the first year, and it was great. We had some great times. It was good, but I just got sick of just being in my house, man. Yeah. Just being in my house and always online, always on a device. And it's like, it's hard to explain, people who don't do what we do. Like when you do like this loud set and the energy's up and everything, and then you turn it off and there's no one there and it's quiet, and it's like, it's a weird feeling that's hard for people, I think, to grasp unless you do this,
It is very strange performing in, isolation into let's call it the metaverse now, and you're not feeling that energy as you would in a live setting. Yeah. I really like how, you recognize the power of positive thinking. I think that, what I got out of your ideas to go and support the local restaurateurs and attract clientele and keep them happy during takeout experiences. You're doing that because you're trying to stay positive, right? And you're intentionally staying positive through a dark time. And not only that, you're helping others be positive by experiencing some positive energy. So that is super powerful. What a lot of people don't recognize is, when you're in a dark place or struggling with some things that are out of your control, that are affecting your life, your business, your health, positive thinking is a choice, right? You can choose to change your mindset. It's not easy. Of course, it's not easy, but all you got to do is start thinking about those positive things. You started looking at the reviews that you had from your business that sparked that positive thinking, reminding you that, I've had some great wins in life. I've had some awesome experiences, and I've over exceeded people's expectations in my business. And that makes you feel good. And when you do those things and you celebrate those wins, that shift in your mind starts going from negative to positive. And that momentum is going to take you to success. So that to me, I love that story that you're spinning some Italo disco in the local restaurants. That I can just picture it, people dancing while they're waiting for the pasta. That's awesome. I got a question for you.
Sure.
Who are the 3 people in your life that have had the most influence on you?
Like just in general, personal,
it could be anybody,
business,
but
okay.
Who have helped?
I definitely say my wife Nadia has had probably the biggest influence on me. Like, it completely changed me. Not like I'm still essentially the same person, but just so many things culturally, just spiritually, like just so many things, man. Yeah, she is my number 1 for sure. Awesome. And number 2, I guess I would probably even say my son, because it's the first time that you get a chance to kind of study what it's like to be a young person, a young kid, see it from the start and see just in general how kind of humans are and how we are. And you don't understand, like when you're growing up, obviously there's things you just don't understand. You know, you try to teach your kid. I'm like, man, now I'm the old guy. Like, you know, and so that's been a big thing. And just like, and also understanding music too, like the songs that he likes and just why he likes, and, you know, understanding how the new generations are just with like, everything is YouTube, like, you know, it's, yeah. And then, you know, the third, I'd probably have to say, my good friend, Sam Fleming, you know, on the DJ F Sharp, on the business side of things, Evolved Entertainment. I met him, and, you know, he was just super inspiring. Like, he'd done a lot of cool stuff, worked with a lot of his heroes and my heroes too. And, just the whole business side of it. And, you know, when I was just getting into the business side of DJing, he was one of the few guys that I met of all the companies that I knew that was actually like ahead, like in the scene, like a vinyl head, like just, you know, exactly into the same kind of things that I was into. And, you know, I didn't know any other companies that were like that. And he was just like-minded, and, you know, we're tight. We've worked together for so many years. And, just his, like, he, you know, for sales, he does like the highest sales that I know of DJ companies in Canada.
No way.
And
wow.
And his positivity and his, you know, just the way that he approaches things, like it's bar none. Like, I don't know anybody else that's like that. And it's super inspiring. And, I've learned a lot from him. And, yeah.
Awesome.
He's a great guy, man. I love him.
Awesome. You're a healthy guy. I'm curious, what is like the one habit that you practice that's like the most essential thing for you that you got to do that's part of your routine?
Tough to nail down to one because I have a bunch, but I guess you know, exercise is pretty key, and stretching, because with me, like, I've had a back neck issue for many years. So you know, that's one of the key things. And I've actually, since the pandemic started, I've had another, you know, silver lining thing. I've been working part-time at my sister's health food store up in Fenland Falls, you know, which was my hometown. And I've learned so much about all this healthy stuff, all the supplements. Like, you know, I've tried all the brain supplements, you know, for cognitive memory and like all that, and like everything and anything, just learning it all. And like, you know, it's been great, man. Like, I'm plant-based. Like, I eat as healthy as possible. You know,
that's
wake
right.
up, drink up.
Your whole family is vegan, plant-based, or?
No, just me. Like,
just you?
I mean, you know, I got the Italian. I can't give up cheese. Like, I cut it down significantly.
So vegetarian, plant-based. Yeah.
Vegetarian, plant-based. Yeah. And don't get me wrong, once in a while I might try something, but I generally don't like it. Like,
right.
Someone brings over, like, say Nadia's mom brought some shrimp from the Caribbean. Like, obviously I'm going to try it. She brought it all the way.
Yeah.
We went to Jamaica a few years ago. I'm going to try a Jamaican patty in Jamaica. Like,
you have to,
you know, that kind of thing. But for the most part, yeah, man, I'm plant-based. Like, I'm really conscious of what I put in my body. And, you know, sometimes there's some vegan junk and some junk here and there, but like, I've ate so much junk in my life, man. I could really care less if I, you know, ever had McDonald's or anything like that. I can't even eat that. Honestly, like, even A&W, I can't even, that's like the healthier fast food. I can't even eat that stuff, man. Like,
I love me a good Uncle Burger every now and then, but I don't eat it every day.
Yeah.
That's
so, you
for
know,
sure, man.
Waking up and drinking a liter of water. I got the high alkaline water. And, you know, like I was saying with the brain supplements, the best one that I've tried that I still keep in my diet to this day is the lion's mane mushroom.
Yeah.
And if you've ever, kind of checked out or did any research on mushrooms, like fascinating stuff.
They're I forget what you call them, myco something, that at the end of the day, all mushrooms in the forest are the communicators of the forest. Like the root systems and everything actually communicate with all the other plants and all the other mushrooms and all the other living matter that's on the surface or in the surface of the earth. It's absolutely fantastic stuff. The energy is crazy.
Yeah, and incredible now. Like I'm seeing that, it's one of the only things too that can take like radioactive material and turn it back into organic material.
Yeah, that's insane. Yeah,
insane. And so like the thing with the lion's mane, I watched this. You should check this out. Everyone should check it out. I think it's amazing. There's a documentary on Netflix called, I think it's Fantastic Fungi. Yeah. And it goes in talking about all these different mushrooms. And when they're talking about the lion mane, the guy's like, it literally creates new connections in your brain. That's what it does.
That's insane. And it's such a beautiful thing. We have all these amazing resources around us all the time that we need to learn about and take advantage of. Hey, Greedo, 100%. I could talk to you all day. I really could, man. It's been a real pleasure. I really want to thank you for sharing your story, your journey with our listeners.
Half an hour up.
Half an hour up. But before we go, I would like to know where can our listeners connect with you online?
Yeah, just at DJ Greedo, DJ Greedo. My company is Del Vinyl Entertainment at Del Vinyl, but pretty much, DJ Greedo or Del Vinyl, you'll find me.
Awesome. And you're on pretty much all platforms. You still doing Twitch shows?
I'm coming back. I just did Twitch actually last Saturday live at Shoot. Excuse me.
Okay.
And I do plan on coming back. Twitch, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. Yeah.
Everywhere.
Yeah.
Hey, man.
Mixcloud. That's where you can find all my mixes. I got Mixcloud series.
Awesome.
On there. Yeah.
Yeah. So if you're looking for some focus music, something to play in the background while you're crushing some work there, listeners, check out DJ Greedo's Mixcloud. He's got all kinds of mixes on there to keep you entertained while you're working at home. So
yeah.
Yes, sir. Well, hey, man, thank you so much for your time. It was a real pleasure. Wishing you all the best and continued success in your business. I'm sure that this stuff will pass over and you're going to take off running. So thank you for your time, man.
Yeah, you're welcome, man. Thank you. Appreciate you, Chris. You're an inspiration too. And, much love to you and the family and everything you're doing, man. Keep at it.
Yeah. Well, I really enjoy your mixes. Keep those coming, man. Take care. Okay.
Thank you.
All right.
Peace.